Hey guys, so I was in the bathroom and that's where I do my best thinking. No, no, but I don't remember what brought this up, but I was thinking about this episode, and I think I've talked about this episode before. It's a good episode, but I don't think I talked about this in particular. How the premise of this episode and the story doesn't make any sense. It's a good episode, John. It's a kids show. I get that, but I'm old, I'm ancient, and as an old ancient person, what you like to do is go back to the stuff you used to watch as a kid and pick it apart. Does it take away how good it is? No, it doesn't. But there's still things I question because it just doesn't make any sense, and there's different ways they could have done it to make it, especially the outcome. If you see, so the tale of the super specs, simple enough. So they're in Sardo's shop, and he's casting this little spell with the monkey bones. He throws the powder, and it lands on the specs. Uh,
Oh, here it is. The spell of the second sight. Umbu, Tubu, Sunra Day. Insu, Hulu, Bambane.
all right, simple enough. This is what starts off the entire episode. This is what leads to, all the events in between. He casts a spell, the powder lands on the specs, gives this, second sight. Also apparently opening a portal window to a parallel or parallel universe. But in a sense, it doesn't make any sense. So, almost at the end of the episode, she comes back after seeing, she turns around and
Tired of typing tons.
she sees ads. No, she turns around and over there by the display window, she sees an apparition. Of course, we don't know that it's actually a different universe at this point. They're just black beings, no distinguishable features. They're just apparitions at this point. But she sees them here. She sees them in her house. She sees them at school. She sees the woman constantly showing up. She sees her at the school first, and the tree, and this and that. Weeds and his friend are playing horse, I think. And she eventually shows up while they're playing and puts the specs on and sees them playing basketball, which is hilarious. So she goes to Sardo almost at the end of the episode, and they look up Second Sight, and he's like, "Oh yeah, well, it probably opened a window, probably in your house," and that's where I have the issue. The spell was cast in Sardo's shop, and it wasn't done by her. It was done by Weeds. So why isn't the window to this rift window portal, or not really a portal? Because basically what's happening after he does this, it's allowing these two universes to coexist, like basically on top of one another. So she goes home, and we get it because it's yeah. There you go. The one they're playing basketball. Um. So yeah, he was like, "Your house." But let's see. Yeah, she goes home. She starts walking around. And things seem a little normal at first, like the fireplace. So you see the fireplace is off. She does. They don't have a fire going. In separate universe, this universe that's right on top of theirs, there's someone in the house and they've got the fire going. Same thing with the stove. She looks at the stove. In her universe, there's nothing on the stove. In the alternate or separate universe, there's someone's boiling a kettle of water. She whooshes her hand through it. It's not physically there, even though it's existing in the same plane as hers. They're kind of almost merging and kind of like fighting for dominance. But she's not able to actually interact with anything. So that's like when she takes off the specs, the figure she's seeing can't really do anything, really. She's not able to physically interact with anything. She can just see them. Um, that's when she goes to Sardo, and like, oh, second sight, and he has to fix it for a modest fee, of course. So they go, and turns out after this, she doesn't need the specs anymore because they all can see them. Because this is kind of like almost the ultimate battle right here, which is kind of lackluster. You have two universes fighting for one space, and this is how they're kind of playing it out. I think you could have done a lot better, but I'll go into that afterwards. So, Sardo does the spell of the Cosmic Seal, thinking everything's better, and you get this, with his booming voice, some very commanding authority, saying that two universes can't exist in a single area simultaneously, and that order has to be restored. And then at the end, we find out that this is the woman that she was seeing the whole time. Seems fair enough, nice enough. And then she's like, "Oh, I'm sure they won't be bothering you anymore." With that booming voice, we find out that this was the person we were hearing and seeing. That she's the one who kind of set the Cosmic Seal back in place, but by doing so, she allowed her universe to take over this one. And then we see them kind of trapped, I guess, sealed up for whatever reason. But and then at the end, it's like, so two universes were, fighting for one area, and the other universe won. And Gary said, yeah, because the woman in black was powerful and Sardo was a fake. So I think the episode, like I said, it makes no sense. Weeds uses the spell in Sardo's shop. Why is she the one seeing them, and why is the window in her house? That makes no sense. If it was cast in Sardo's shop, the window, this portal, should be in Sardo's shop. And think about this final battle of trying to seal them up. You get ads. So we get this very just her house, which wouldn't it be more meaningful? So first off, it would make more sense. It would be a traditional boy who cries wolf. So Weeds is the prankster. He's getting stuff from Sardo's shop for April Fools. So wouldn't it make more sense for him to be the one seeing these apparitions? Again, they don't know it's an alternate universe or parallel. They think they're just apparitions at the time. So wouldn't it make sense for the one that no one believes, because he's always playing pranks, to be the one seeing it? And every time he tries to give someone the specs, it's like, oh yeah, haha, April Fools. And no one really tries them on. And the final battle takes place in Sardo's shop, being surrounded by all this fake mysticism. And they can still have the outcome of that creepy, where everyone starts to see them, but on a broader scale, because instead of that, people are, outside seeing them, that these things are now almost essentially like congregating to Sardo's shop, because that's where the thing was opened. And, as the day, however many days goes by, that slowly begins to cause instability, and these beings are now able to actually manifest in our dimension, even though they'll still appear as they are, because it hasn't broken just yet, but it's pretty much at the point where they can somewhat manifest, maybe not for a long period of time, but they're able to manifest and become physical. But imagine them looking outside, and just all this horde of like just black figures just slowly walking towards Sardo's shop. And they can still have the downer ending of the other universe winning, because in the end it's still going to be the same. Sardo's a fake. The woman in black was powerful, and she was the one who had the power to fix the cosmic seal, but by doing so she was asserting her dominance. And basically in this kind of war, the one who's more powerful magically is going to be the victor here, and Sardo's a fake. He had no idea what he was doing, while the woman in black was powerful. She had that knowledge of spells and incantations and seals and stuff like that. So you could still keep the downer ending, but having him in the shop where he peddles all this, this X-ray vision and all this stuff that's mysticism and supernatural. And I mean, don't get me wrong, a lot of the stuff he does, he has that he's given in episodes ends up being powerful or magic in some kind of way, just not how he describes it. Like I can't remember the episode, but it's the Persian victory box. For centuries, warriors have been using this box, and it's like, oh, you place your hand on the box and you wish for anything, and poof, you get it. It turns out there's a genie. Although she's not a genie, we don't know how old she was. She was apparently around before the Titanic, at least. She said, oh, someone wished for a relaxing cruise or vacation. I gave them the Titanic. So we know she was around before that. But she said, she got stuck in there years ago after she wished for a million wishes. So he gives this kid the box, which he says is a Persian victory box, that all you do is just place your hand on and just get. Little did he know there was an actual girl in there who was acting as genie, who would grant your wishes. Or with the carved stone. That episode, with Frank Gorshin. He's like, oh, it's a Egyptian friendship stone, or whatever he was said. Well, it wasn't a friendship stone, but it was a stone that someone used to travel through time. But in the episode, she accidentally, mirror opens up a way through time. She fell in, and she ended up making a friend in the past who used to live in her house. So it wasn't a friendship stone, and it's not like, and you'll have more friends than you know what to do with. It didn't do that, but she did make a friend out of it. So, but for the most part, he's a fake. He claims to have this knowledge, and he's a fake. So the episode would have been a lot better if, it starts out with Weeds and her in the in Sardo's shop, and he does the same thing. He used the monkey bones on the specs, and you see it, the light up, like they did, and Sardo convinces him to buy him, says, oh, some say it's you X-ray vision. And at this time, he just kind of puts the glasses on, because it does happen in the very beginning. He puts on the specs and he looks up, and now he's like, oh, wowza. So of course he didn't see the apparitions at that time. So it would have been better if he did this, the specs, looked up and down like wowza, and thought nothing else of it. But then he goes home or wherever, and he starts seeing these beings everywhere. He tries telling his girlfriend. She doesn't believe him. He goes with his friend. They're at the basketball court. He, for whatever reason, puts them on. He sees them, tries to convince his friend. No one he doesn't believe him either. And then it eventually culminates in him going to Sardo and saying that, oh yeah, the spell is second sight, and you cast the spell here, so we have to do things here, because this is where the rift is, where the dimensions or universes are kind of collapsing in on themselves, or trying to merge. So they do the same thing, and it ends up kind of the same way, starting out in the shop, and then it kind of goes to this ethereal kind of space, or like I said, just Sardo's shop, and you can see the beings kind of walking outside towards the shop, because like I said, you don't know the span of time, but having the kind of fabric of it tearing to the point where they're able to physically appear, but not for long. That's why they're this is like their last stand almost, because they know if they take care of Sardo and do all this where the window is, they'll be able to finally emerge fully, rather than just be apparitions that have limited time. So it makes sense for them to go kind of to this battlefield almost. And then Sardo admits that he has no idea what he's freaking doing. The woman in black pops up. It could still be the eyes. It doesn't really matter. However, they just decide to utilize her. But it can just show that she's the more powerful one. She still fixes the cosmic seal, restoring it, but doing so allows her to kind of make her universe the dominant one, and they're kind of pushed to the wayside and sealed and whatever else. Or like a Gallifrey type thing, a parallel pocket universe that's kind of like cut off from everyone. Yeah, bet you didn't think I'd be making a Doctor Who reference here. But yeah, it could still end with a downer. But having them show up at her house when Weeds is the one who casts the spell and the spell was in Sardo's shop, it doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't. So, again, it's a kid's show, but I'm ancient, and that's what ancient people do when they don't have a life. They think about things they did when they were a kid, and I mean, I love Are You Afraid of... I still love this episode. It's a great episode. This story doesn't make a whole lot of sense when you really... with a fine-tooth brush, with a fine-tooth comb. So... But, I mean... Usually, Are You Afraid of the Dark? I think Goosebumps was really the one that kind of gave a lot more of the downer endings, and they weren't really afraid sometimes to get dark. But Are You Afraid of the Dark kind of... I mean, it was always like nice stuff. Not nice, but like, oh no, he's trapped in a pinball game, or, you know, like, oh, the guy could easily let him out. But he's trapped in there. Or this. But sometimes Goosebumps wasn't afraid to go extra dark. But yeah, I think a rewrite of this episode to where Weeds is the one seeing them. Sardo's shop is where the rift was open. And seeing them outside, being able to finally manifest in our world, rather than just being apparitions you can only see while putting the specs on, I think would really be kind of a cool thing. And seeing them slowly just walking towards the final battle, essentially, you know, and they're rushing, and Sardo admits that he has no idea what he's doing, and he has to like get this cosmic seal sealed up before they actually can get inside. And they do come inside. They'll come inside, and just as they're slowly approaching, that's when, you know, he finishes the incantation, and boom, they think it's over, only to find that no. But they think it's over. Woman shows up, actually seals it, because even though it's a spell, you need to be powerful to do it. So, especially a cosmic seal. But then again, never mind, because a freaking kid managed to mess the seal up in the first place. So I guess you don't have to be particularly powerful. You just need to know what you're doing, which the woman in black does know. She knows what she's doing. So either way, but that's just my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think of the episode. How would you do it? You know, and any other episodes you want me to look into to kind of dissect, to go through an old person's lens. Let me know. But yeah, makes no sense. No sense. But that's gonna do it for me. You guys know the drill. I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.